Imagine this: a global city that breathes through the flow of people, capital, and trust, situated in the heart of the world's most geopolitically volatile region, the Middle East. A region that, for decades, has rarely known true stillness. Conflicts emerge, subside, and resurface, often with unpredictable intensity. And every time tensions escalate, one thing reacts instantly: risk perception. It isn't missiles that strike a modern economy first. It is fear. Global investors don't wait for a bomb to land near their assets. They move the moment the narrative shifts. Because Dubai does not rely solely on internal conditions, it depends on how the world perceives the ground it stands on. Look at the current state of the Middle East. Simmering conflicts, interstate tensions, disrupted trade routes, and threats to regional stability. Dubai itself might be physically safe, but for many foreign investors, the region is often viewed as a single, monolithic block, a high-risk region. When that label resurfaces, the flow of money changes direction. Not because Dubai is collapsing, but because investors refuse to carry additional risk. Now, let's look at the tangible impact. First, energy and logistics. The Middle East is the world's energy heart. When energy costs rise, transport costs follow. Shipping becomes expensive. Supply chains fracture. Dubai is not a major producer of food. It is a distribution hub. When logistics costs climb, the internal impact is immediate. Food prices rise. The expat domino effect. Dubai thrives on a global workforce. If the cost of living rises too sharply, people reduce spending or choose to leave. Dubai's economy is heavily driven by domestic consumption. If consumption drops, the retail, hospitality, and real estate sectors feel the burn. Next, consider tourism. Dubai is a global tourism engine, but tourism relies on one thing above all: the feeling of safety. The moment headlines scream about regional conflict, even if far away, traveler perception shifts instantly. Trips are postponed. Plans are canceled. The capital flight. Global investors migrate to safe havens. If Middle Eastern tensions boil over, funds may flow toward U.S. treasuries or stable Europe. Real estate isn't just about buildings. It's about who is willing to buy next. If the influx of investors slows, the market loses its momentum. What if the conflict escalates? Serious disruptions to trade routes, sharp spikes in energy prices, or drastic reductions in global mobility. Dubai is no stranger to crisis. From the 2008 financial crisis to a global pandemic, they have risen every time. Ultimately, this isn't just about Dubai. It's about how modern global cities are built. They stand on trust, mobility, and global capital flows. Don't just look at the skyscrapers. Look at what supports them. In the modern economy, what appears strongest is often the most dependent on the invisible. The paradox of stability amidst the storm. However, there is another side to this coin, one rarely noticed by amateur observers. Behind the vulnerabilities we've discussed, there is an automated defense mechanism at work, a phenomenon I call the safe haven paradox. When a region experiences a shock, money does tend to flee to offshore safe havens. But do not forget, the capital already within the region seeks refuge. For billionaires in neighboring countries experiencing turmoil, Dubai is often seen not as a risk, but as the ultimate lifeboat. When tensions rise in Tehran, Beirut, or Baghdad, they move assets to the place that is closest, most familiar, and ready to absorb liquidity. This is the economic irony. Dubai suffers from global risk perception, but it breathes through regional uncertainty. It acts as a fortress. But can this model last forever? We must face a new challenge: neighboring competition. Once, Dubai had no rivals. Now, the narrative has shifted. Neighboring nations are building larger ports and opening aggressive tax-free zones. They are offering longer residency visas. Investors now have other lifeboats. Dubai is no longer just fighting risk perception. It is fighting for a flow of people that is becoming increasingly selective. The answer for the future is no longer about how tall they build towers. It is about rooting themselves into digital economies and data sovereignty. In this new era, trust is about whether data is secure and whether legal systems remain independent in an increasingly polarized world. Dubai stands at a crossroads between maintaining its status as a global playground or evolving into a global fortress. In the modern economy, stability is the most expensive commodity. For a city selling stability in an unstable region, the margin for error is razor thin. Look at it as an economic algorithm that recalculates every second. Every property transaction is a vote of confidence. Every expatriate who chooses to stay is proof that the narrative of safety is still winning against fear. Dubai is no longer selling real estate. They are selling something far more abstract: the future. Humanity craves certainty. Today, Dubai's wealth is measured by how many people feel left behind if they aren't there. This is what we call FOMO economics. When a city is built on foreign capital, it becomes hyper-vulnerable to global monetary policy. If U.S. interest rates remain high, money can be pulled overnight. Dubai teaches us that adaptability is more valuable than stability. They don't try to stop the storm. They build infrastructure that remains functional. They create visa systems that tie people down both emotionally and financially. They transform a layover destination into a home. If a city constantly promotes itself as the best and safest, then even the smallest flaw will look like a massive fracture to an investor. Dubai asserts that with the right system, a city at the center of conflict can bloom the brightest. But never be deceived by the calm surface. Your strongest asset is how quickly you can convince the world you are still relevant when everything changes. The show never stops.